my major design project, the animated film Ami Tumi Rumi, it stems from a very personal point of view or experiences. Hello, I am Anandita Banerjee and I am a final year student at IIED and I study communication design here. So my major design project is an animated film, Ami Tumi Rumi. From the very beginning, I had this in mind that I wanted to make a film. At that point of time, I did not have any topic in my mind or what I was going to do, but it was just that I wanted to make a film. My medium was selected. So after that, I started noting down the points that I wanted to work on or something that I felt need to be talked about. So my major design project, the animated film Ami Tumi Rumi, it stems from a very personal point of view or experiences. But as I moved forward and entered into the research phase or talked to people, I realized it was not just my personal thing. It was a story almost for everyone, like I was speaking, somewhere or the other. So started with a personal experience, but as I moved forward, it took a lot of other experiences of other people. So the film talks about a young girl brought up in a Bengali household, traditional Bengali household. And it's a journey of her where she has been brought up and has a lot of, there is a lot of familial, cultural expectations from her. But at the end, how she moves forward with all those expectations and also finding her own personal identity and embracing all of that she has been brought up with, and also things that she has collected on the way of her journey. So that is my film Ami Tumi Rumi. This MDP, the major design project, is the first film that I am making. Growing up in a certain cultural background, there is a lot of expectations from parents, from the society, that is put on the younger generation or the toddler from a very young age. In the process, the child grows up with it, and initially those might just be activities, but growing up it becomes a lot more societal concepts or expectations. When that person or the child grows up and he or she is taken out of the comfort zone and put in a very different world which they are not familiar with, that is where I feel there is a conflict that is created. And in a process of bridging that gap, it is always seen that the person tries to become pretentious and tries to put a cover on oneself. That is why my story, Ami Tumi Rumi, talks about like a young girl growing up in a certain cultural background or with a lot of familial or societal or cultural expectations. At the end, it is seen that the person is embracing what he or she had, but also embracing what she has grown up or imbibed from the different world. Bengalis who have born and brought up in Delhi, they also couldn't escape the stereotypes or the stigma attached to a certain culture. So, and it got very difficult. Like, even if when I was looking into films like Namesake or Jhumpa Lahiri's Lowland, I realized that there is always an expectation attached no matter wherever in the world you are. And that is where the younger generation struggle. Like, they have a cultural identity and they also have an identity of their own to be created, which clashes somewhere. And that is where my problem was. The motive of the film is actually can be a voice of those people to tell the world that nobody is disregarding what they have born up with, in which culture they've been raised into, but also they are open to the world that's around them, which also gives them a newer perspective. So the entire film, I have divided it into 3 parts. It is a 3-act structure. The first part, which is the thesis, it is actually introducing the character. It is showing her journey. The second part, which is the antithesis, in that point it is talking about the conflict, the climax. And the third part, which is the synthesis, is where the resolution takes place in the play. So in the first part, where she's getting introduced and we are getting glimpses of her life, there's a build-up of the story. The frames are occurring in monochromatic grays, where we are getting introduced to her and we are identifying the problems that are coming. in the second act, where the conflict is happening and she is burdened with she's already burdened, there is going to be a climax. There is an internal conflict within herself. And the third, which is the resolution, we show her world in a color, like there's a color usage of color in that act. In that portion, we see her conflict getting resolved. So this is how the color palette was decided. So for the illustration style, the aim was to keep the illustration very simple. I would say I got highly inspired from the works of Jamini Roy, Nandalal Boshu, and also Kalighat Pottochitro. I also had illustrations in my mind which I had seen while growing up. Like, we used to have this animated series like Nonte Fonte or Thakumar Jhuli, where they had very simple line illustrations, but that worked like amazing, like magically. It communicated stories magically. Like, every child was hooked up to those cartoons. Also, like even illustrations found in children book or Bengali magazines was something that I wanted to reflect those things on the illustration style. Also, like, I really enjoy works of contemporary artists like Joyita. Like she has been my inspiration for a long time. Like, I find her illustrations to be magical. And what is common about these illustrations is the portrayal of eyes. So the portrayal of eyes in Bengali artwork is identified by large eyes, which we often call, there's a term called potol chera chok, which is something like dissected pointed gourd. So that was something I wanted my illustration to reflect. So I started sketching out. And one of the major inspiration for me illustrating was my own childhood pictures, and also I collected childhood pictures of my friends. So it started, like, the process was like looking at the picture, illustrating, then looking at the illustrations that has already been there, looking at these artworks. So it was like taking things, combining, and then creating like what I wanted to, how I wanted to, and the aim was to keep it very simple. The colors in the film has been very thoughtfully chosen. The first frames where the girl child is getting introduced to the audience, we see a very monochromatic color that has been used. While in those frames, we see the objects that are getting placed on her head are not in black and white, are not in monochrome, in the grays. Because the film doesn't want to disregard or leave a message that the things that has been put on her is something that shouldn't have been done. Because if I'm telling that, then I'm saying then education is not necessary. Then learning music is not necessary, which is something the film doesn't aim to. What the frames want to communicate is that how things are being put on her. Is it something that she wishes to learn? Is it something because she is expected to learn? Or is it because the parents want their daughter or son to accomplish all of the things that they couldn't accomplish? So through the grays and through the colored objects, I wanted to showcase that it is something that is not happening according to her will. It is something that is getting put on her. It's getting pressurized. Similarly, as the film moves forward, we see as she has grown up and the objects have piled up on her head and she is now struggling to even walk, she is getting introduced to a very different world, which she is not familiar. When she is stepping out of her, all these through the first part now becomes her comfort zone. And now she is entering into a space which is not her comfort zone. She has never been there. She has never seen it. So that creates a conflict, like how is she going to deal with it? She has so many things already on her head. Will that new world put things on her? Will she be able to deal with all of those? So these are conflicts that are going on. And as she steps and we enter into the next stage and we see the roller coaster structure, the color changes to like black with just white strokes. So as she's going through those, which is also representing her turmoil, her conflicts, And as we see, she get like the next scene where she is falling on the crossroad, she gets up and things starts getting resolute, like it gets resolved. It starts getting resolved. So there we are introduced to colors very slowly. Like we see that she is now entering into the world where she has been able to resolve her conflict, or maybe some are still there, but she has been able to keep those objects according to her own wish. If she wanted to disregard something, she has not kept it, but a much more resolved self of our character. So the like the last part after the climax, where those frames appear to be in color, we see the girl actually picking all the objects that was on her head, but we also find that there are newer objects that she is putting along with those objects. When she's playing the music on the gramophone, it's a Akla Chalo Re is being played, but it is the version that has been sung by Amitabh Bachchan. When she's picking up a book and reading it, it's the essential Rumi that she is reading it. While there is also the shadow of Tagore next to her. The aim of the film is also to show that the upbringing has also helped her to be inclusive in her thoughts. Like the Akla Chalo Re might be something very different, like my perspective on the song might be very different from the perspective of someone else. So this film also aims that to create an inclusivity, to imbibe a different thing. We do not have to disregard what was there. We can take everything and create a newer version of who we are. So that is also what the last frame or the last frames of the film aims to do. There was another feedback that I got on the day of my final crit by the external jury, Mr. Pratyush Kashyap, that while doing the storyboarding, only we can actually do testing of how the frame is going to look like. So that at that point of time only we understand that what the proper frame in the sense with color, with texture or with the illustration style, just a frame. So how it helps is that we don't have to wait for the entire film to be produced and realize that this style might not work. So those small rectangles, just one frame of each style or the treatment frame can actually be very helpful to decide if the style of illustration, the color or the texture or the technique is actually working for my film. So I was mentored by Mr. Shahz Ahmed, and I think so it was only because I had repeated conversations with him that he helped me to streamline my thoughts. Because if I am to start with, I had a plethora of thoughts, what I'm going to work on, sometimes also getting deviated from what I am. Like, if I have to say, like, the initial month of the film was actually a lot of to and fro. Like, my thoughts were all over the place. I even had doubts if this concept even makes sense, because at the end of the day I didn't want to be someone who is not telling the truth. So it was Sir who actually helped me to streamline thoughts, and also Sakshi ma'am for helping me to understand how I am going to connect the things. Apart from that, I have spoken to my friends in college and also my audiences. Like, I had repeated conversations with them, but when I'm talking to people, there are people who are able to relate to it. And I think so, if people are able to relate to it, then it must be spoken about. But in the entire project, Mr. Shahz Ahmed was my mentor. Apart from that, I think so, like, this film would not be possible without the help of my classmates, Anish and Nanki. Like, they helped me with the softwares, and also Inderjeet sir. It's a team, like, they are also a part of Aami Tumhi Rumi team. So yes, like, I'm extremely grateful.